We're back with another episode of Brew Your Mind, the podcast where we get to drink coffee and beer and you get to sit back and listen to us ramble about what's on our minds. I'm Justin.
I'm Sam, not Jesse.
That's right. Sam is joining us this week as Jesse is out of town camping. I miss him dearly. But hey, huge thank you real quick to Sam for joining me this week. How you doing today, man?
I'm great. I could never live up to Jesse. We need you, man. Justin needs you, but hopefully I can do fill in decently here.
Yeah. This is gonna be good. Like we normally do on Brew Your Mind, Justin or myself and Jesse, we sometimes don't really have an agenda. So that's how Sam and I are gonna attack it today. We don't have anything to really follow, so we're just gonna let it happen. But before we do that, what do you got over there, Sam? What are you drinking this morning? Or at your time
It's
is what?
7:48 p.m. in Ankara, Turkey. I currently have coffee with some Baileys and put some cinnamon in there. Little treat for you, boy. A little podcast treat.
Ooh, really brewing your mind today. I love it. How does it taste good? Is it good?
Oh, delicious.
Good.
I would think something that doesn't taste good.
Good. Hell yeah. Love that. And I got a Rheingeist Cincy made in India Pale Ale. Yeah, it's about 11 a.m. That's about late enough to have a beer. So
it's football.
It's football time, man. We got football about to kick off here in about an hour. This thing's a 7.2%. Good Lord. All right, here we go.
Also, IPA is not my favorite, so I'm trusting you here.
Yeah, it's not my favorite either. That's why I'm gonna give it like a 5.5 out of 10. But hey, it's something new, and I always try to bring something new to the table, and it's okay. A picture will probably be up on Instagram.
That's what we love about you.
Yeah, man. Yeah. So, I already said it, but hey, thanks for joining me this week. I hope we have some good stuff to talk about.
Sure.
For those that haven't seen the Instagram page or haven't been keeping up with Sam, there's actually a little collab going on right now with the blog that he writes, the Dekker Post. We're getting some Brew Your Mind stuff on there.
Absolutely.
But make sure you guys go over to Dekker Post. Sam, hell of a writer. I mean, there's a good handful of blogs that he's already put up, and it ranges from his recruiting process. So it's a good dive into how it was with when how he committed to Wisconsin and whatnot, and also talks about the best 5 minutes and 15 seconds of The Office. I mean, like the range is good, and he writes some good stuff. So make sure you head over there, check that out, and then we'll have some Brew Your Mind stuff also posted up over there. So Sam, since you're our lovely guest today, is there anything that's just been killing you? Like you've been losing sleep over that you just want to discuss? Like you just.
Well, first off, when you talked about, the little Brew Your Mind, the Dekker Post collab, what have you, hopefully I can hop on here, more than a couple times and, get some more ears and eyes towards you and Jesse, what you guys have built. I think you guys have an amazing platform. You guys always have fun and two great guys. So in any way we can, work together in that regard is awesome. And, no, it's fun, doing the whole blogging thing. I'm not really looking for anything out of it. Basically, it's just a way for me to, expand creatively. I always have a lot to say. Twitter can't always get that out. So it's fun taking these weird thoughts I have in this unique brain of mine and throwing it on a page. And I didn't know I could really write, but once I start doing it, it's fun, and it kind of just naturally just hits the page. So I'm having a lot of fun with it. Hopefully right now we can start building a little more now that I have a little more free time. My wife, Olivia, was out here. So, trying to fill my time with her. So now that I'm alone right now, I have a little more time to do that. So we're trying to expand. Anyone that follows, either Brew Your Mind or the Dekker Post, look out. We have a little bit more collabs coming. Some friends of mine going to come on and do some guest writing. Olivia, some other friends that really in depth with the Packers, the Bucks, the Cubs, Brewers, what have you. We have a little bit of everything. So I'm excited for the direction that I'm heading with this, and collectively the people willing to help is really cool to me.
Dude, Hell yeah, and that's awesome. I mean, just from the first blog post that you published, and now to where it's at now, it's like just the variety and the fact that, because I mean, me and you, we talk all the time, and you say some really interesting stuff that like makes you think, and the way that you deliver the stuff too. It's kind of like a special talent, and I guess probably not a lot of people know about. But then you put it to words, and you always get the compliments. Each time you push out another blog, that like, "Hey, man, this is a great read. This information, it's really insightful." So,
Yeah.
it's really awesome that you're doing that.
Yeah,
So,
and I think especially now, I don't know what you think about this, but you see an article on the Athletic, or you see an article on, I used to read Grantland, or you see an article on the Ringer.
yeah,
I don't love a 25-minute read. Especially nowadays, our world is so fast. People want their stuff boom, 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 boom,
yep,
and people don't love reading nowadays. But I'm one of those people. I don't love reading. I don't like reading. So if there's any way for me, to get stuff on a page for the non-reader, I think I'm the guy that can do that. And so I like to write simply but creatively and get you in and out in 5 minutes or less. And I think
hell yeah,
that's kind of a fun way to do it, because I'm thinking of the reader or the viewer while I'm writing, and I'm like, would I read this much? Every time I write something, I reread it. I said, okay, this is a little long. Let me take this out. Let me make this a little more simple. And I don't want someone sitting there for 15 minutes scrolling, being like, when is this over? So I'm kind of having fun with that, and it's kind of challenging me, but it's also makes it a little more enjoyable for me.
yeah, absolutely, and that's. I mean, that just makes sense. I mean, you made a lot of good points there. And I will say, hey, our mind brewers over here, even though the world wants things fast, our episodes are still gonna be really long. Okay, people, we're not gonna cut these short. We're gonna give you an hour long, fantastic episodes that you can listen over to the 2 weeks, and it's gonna be great. So
For sure, I'm reading, not listening.
that's true. That's true. And those that are not familiar with Sam here, which shouldn't be many of you. He did pop up on. He did show his face, his voice on Brew Your Mind. It was back in May. It was episode 29,
Yep.
And that's where we talked about all things Sam Dekker. So if you want to know a little bit more about him, because we'll try to steer away from the about Sam in this episode. He's just here to talk, not really just about himself.
I have something I want to talk about.
Okay, hit me with it.
Yeah, I don't know if people know this, but I don't. Friends of mine that have either played Call of Duty with me or who follow me on social media, like close friends of mine or teammates, many times they think, who's this Cape guy? Like, is he one of your childhood best friends? And one thing that's hilarious to me is, although I would consider you one of my closest friends right now, I've never met you.
That's true.
And I wanted you to expand on that. And people would be like, wait, you guys are always playing Call of Duty together. You guys are always talking sports. You guys are on each other's, social pages and helping each other with a website right now. But we have never met. So
true.
I want you to dive in. How did this come about?
Yeah, absolutely. That's I'm glad you brought that up. So it was back in March. It was literally as COVID hit the scene, right? Like it was beginning to become a global pandemic, and you were on quarantine, and I was basically on quarantine, hardly working. And I remember it was just one night. I was just chilling, watching some kind of Netflix, and then I'm searching the Twitter feeds, and I followed Sam. I don't know how long, but he's been on my social media for a while, and I even sent him an old tweet a while back. I was like, look, man, this is something I retweeted of yours before, I even got a chance to know you. It's just stuff that I used to do. So he posted up on Twitter one night. He was saying, this is when he was in Russia, by the way, too.
And you were,
and I was in England, yeah. And he pushed out a tweet like, hey, trying to play some Warzone, drop your names down below, and send some invites or whatever. And I think right when I put my name down, the invite popped up on my TV. I was like, yeah, right. This isn't cool. This is some kind of prank or something. But yeah, dude, I accept it, and then I'm a total fanboy in the beginning. I remember that, how embarrassing. But we were balling out, and the next thing I know, the next day happened and sends me another invite. Okay, we're playing. This is cool. This is cool. And then a couple days later, he gives me his digits. Yeah, Sam's that easy, guys. I didn't have to ask for him. He just dropped them, people. Yeah. So then next thing I know, we're in WhatsApp, always chatting, as in, hey, when you want to drop, when you want to get some dubs, and then your childhood friend Max, we got grouped up, and then just nonstop tomfoolery. It felt like,
Yeah.
but
And I think one thing that's so cool, um, obviously quarantine's not cool, but
correct.
One thing that I was talking with Olivia about the other day, I said, how cool is it that, in 2020 and, the past probably 5 years or 5-10 years, what technology has been able to do with, making like friendships and meeting people. And it was one of those things where I was literally, quarantined alone in Russia. Right.
Mm-hmm.
And, just trying to find ways to keep my time busy. And, we add each other and, start playing games, and now it's crazy. My friends now all talk to Justin. They play
Yeah.
games with them online. My teammate,
Yeah.
Tyler Ennis, my buddy Austin, my buddy Max, my brother, my cousins, all play with Cape and myself. And it's so cool to me how like one little button on a PlayStation can now, 10, 15 guys are now friends with each other on PlayStation, and if we see each other online, we'll play together. And that's just
Yeah.
really cool to me that technology can do that and bring it was America, England, and Russia together
Yeah.
for an hour a night to play Call of Duty was pretty cool to me.
Yeah, dude, it's wild how all went down. And hey, shout out to all those guys that you mentioned
Yeah.
for just being so accepting, man, and just allowing me to be part of the family and the group.
Well, it would be different if my boys were all squares, but they're all fun. And half the time we're being really nice right now to each other, but half the time when we're playing, it's banter and name calling
Absolutely.
and laughs and crude jokes. And
Yeah.
that's why I could never be a Twitch streamer, is because the jokes we make at each other are so out of line. And, we need to get Tyler Ennis on here. Vibes would be through the roof right now.
Dude, vibes would be great. But yeah, it's funny because, like the way we used to talk back in March, April, it was so like, hey, what are you doing? Do you want to try to get some wins or something like that? And now we're just dropping texts like dubs, question mark, and it could be like 5 a.m. over here, and then it's like in the afternoon for you. But yeah, it definitely evolved. And that's what's just crazy, man, that you just, I haven't even met you, dude. You could be, or what did Tyler say the other day, that I could be some
like
old
a 45-year-old woman in Tallahassee with a voice changer.
That's right. You guys would have no idea, but I could just be some old woman just slaying bodies on Call of Duty without you guys even knowing. But
also, shout out Ty, by the way.
Yeah.
Just finished surgery, starting rehab. A1 guy, A1 teammate. So if Ty's listening to this, shout out Tyler, and everyone send good energy towards him going through this time. But yeah, that's a good dude right there, and he's going to come back to this real strong.
Huge facts, man. Huge facts, and I'm excited to see what his future holds. So quick catch up for people that haven't kept up with you lately.
Yeah.
You are still in Turkey, correct?
Mm-hmm.
And how many more months is the season for you guys over there? Because you said it was quite long.
Yeah, December 6th right now, while we're recording this. Last day of the regular season before playoffs is May 2nd. So,
wow.
We'll see. Right now we're in third. So we'll see what happens moving forward with COVID and whether they want to accelerate things to get guys home. You never know. So, I feel like you read something new every day, whether it's a vaccine or a lockdown. Or, restrictions are pretty tight here right now. Like currently it's a weekend, so I'm not allowed out of my house. We have Friday night at 8 p.m. till Monday morning at 8 a.m. You're not technically allowed to leave your house without a written excuse type of thing, on your phone. So last night I got home from the airport. I had an away game. Got home about midnight, and I got stopped 3 times on the way home. They roadblock and ask you what you're doing and send you on your way, but they say, make sure you go home. So yeah, it's pretty strict over here, trying to keep cases down as much as possible. But
Hmm.
yeah, it's been pretty serious out here. But all systems go still, technically in the basketball world. So we'll see what happens.
Love it, man. That's good stuff. And now that I'm able to find 6 streamier games and keep up, it was a little bit tough at first, but if you know your way around Google, it's not that hard to keep up with you across the seas or over the seas. So,
Yeah.
I had a follow up question. I'm trying to think. So I guess since you're locked down over the weekends, your free time basically consists of
Warzone, cooking food, reading, trying to
good.
be a nerd, and now kind of tinkering with the Dekker Post thing, and
Yeah, yeah.
just kind of creating ideas and
Hmm.
trying to, yeah. And then also then I get bored and I just do push-ups and stuff. But other than that, other
Yeah,
than that, yeah, I've been spending a lot of time just researching stuff and gotten into health and stuff lately. I always have been into that, but have really been diving into reading on that and trying to find any ways to keep me young and healthy and
yeah.
peak performance for as long as I can in my career.
Definitely, and we're going to dive into this health topic here in a second because you're really really knowledgeable about it, and I feel like I could still learn some things from you, whatever you share here in a second. But before we get to that, I have to say I think that's what I like about you most as a person is here you are locked down by yourself, and you still find ways to better yourself in any way that you can, and that's huge, man.
Yeah.
And to set that as like the platform that you're at, and to I don't know, make yourself kind of seem like that role model that someone could follow. Like, oh man, this guy he's made it. He's doing successful things, but he's not stopping there. He's still
Mhm.
trying to grind and make himself a better person and whatnot. So I
Yeah.
applaud you for that.
I
That's good
appreciate
stuff,
that.
dude.
That's really nice of you. And just kind of just trying to find new ways to, you know, expand and learn new
Mm-hmm.
things and try to also still be just a normal dude. And I think
Yeah.
that's what a lot of people sometimes like about me and dislike on social media. They like want me to be normal, but then at the same time they're like, "Why are you so normal?" type of thing. And
Mm.
um, it's gotten me into some trouble. People have obviously we've seen over the past few months people have said things about me and
Mm-hmm.
made things
Mm-hmm.
about me, and over the years since it's been like that since I was sophomore in high school.
Yeah.
Things haven't really bothered me. It's weird. It's one of those things. I've been a target online for some reason for a long time, but
Weird.
every time something happens, I always think, when I read what people are saying to me or tweeting at me, I'm always like, I would love for each of these people to sit down and have a beer with me or a coffee with
Yep.
me and see how they feel about me after that. They've never met
Mm-hmm.
me. So
Mm-hmm.
how do you dislike someone you've never met? And um, I've met a ton of people that have really not liked me. A lot of people that I know on Twitter or Instagram that have said a lot of mean things to me, and I have met them, and they're like, "Oh wow, like you're actually a cool dude, normal dude." And I'm
Mm-hmm.
like, most people are, So most
Exactly.
athletes are. So there's not much that really bothers me. Obviously, things have been said about me and thrown at
Mm-hmm.
me, but I don't let that bother me. People who know me know who I am. I try to be a good person. I try to be a role model, like you said, to kids, and especially in Wisconsin, in Sheboygan, and um, and give a laugh to some people because everyone's so
Mm-hmm.
buttoned up these days, and I just want people to be able to relate. And I
Yeah.
try to relate to everyone, and we all go through the same things and put our pants on the same way. So that's kind of the way I try to approach life and social.
Dude, I love it. There's no canceling Sam. Not today, not tomorrow, not happening. But that's what's important. Like, you're not just Sam Dekker, the basketball person or the basketball player.
Mhm.
And that even took, me as I'm growing up, it took me a while to actually like realize that, these professional athletes, they're not just names on the back of a jersey. They are people, and there's something behind what's driving them, and no one knows that, but they just judge them for who they are, and then just some people try to drag you back to when you made it, they want to try to bring you down, and they don't like that you made it, and they haven't made it, so they're going to try to make it kind of just, I don't know. It's kind of
No, you hit it right.
to see.
You hit it right on the head
Yeah.
there, and it comes with the territory. I mean, the first time I dealt with that was when I first got Twitter. I was 15 years old, and I had these. It was like some 60-year-old guy from Manitowoc would tweet at me all day, cussing at me. I'm 14, 15 years old, and it really
Right.
bothered me at first. But then I realized how much of a loser this guy was, and I think that was the best thing for me because I'm this dude is 40 years older than me, tweeting at a kid, some life, right?
Yeah.
Sick life, bro. So now that's kind of the way that I view people that chirp at me. I'm just you're the one tweeting at me. So
Yeah.
I'm happy over here, enjoying my life, and you should too. So
Amen. Exactly. And I think the most recent time or event that I saw, and specifically towards us, because the Wisconsin community, but when Tyler Hero decommitted, that, I mean, Twitter was just the most toxic place. If you search his name, and I was like, man, he's a kid that is trying to do what's best for his future and not for the Wisconsin fans' future, and people just need to understand that.
And I'm glad you brought that up because people were mad at me for not jumping on the Wisconsin side. I said, there's no sides to this stuff,
Correct.
It's either you're going to be a good person or not, or you're going to tweet bad things or you're not. It's not the kid's doing what he thinks is best for him. I got close to Tyler when he was, in high school, and he'd come to Sheboygan and work out, and he called me a lot about his commitment to Wisconsin, and he was excited. He wanted to go to Wisconsin initially when we were in the Final Fours and doing those things, but ultimately it was, do you want to be an NBA player? What is your goal? What is your goal for yourself, for you and your family? And he told me, and I said, do what you think is right. And I am a Badger through and through. I think everyone who follows me or reads what I do or sees what I do, I am a Wisconsin Badger through and through. But I cannot hate on someone for doing something that's going to better their life. And he's a kid. He is a talented kid, and now you see where he is. So I think as fans, sometimes we have these blinders on about the teams we root for and forget the human aspect behind it. And he did what he thought was correct. He bet on himself, and he got where he wanted to be. So I think most people understand it. It's just the ones that are the loudest on Twitter are the ones that aren't going to budge off their stance either way. So there's no point in arguing.
No, I agree, and that's why, man. What are your views on Twitter in 2020? Do you think it's? I mean, obviously, you found the love of your life in me on Twitter, but outside of that, is there? I mean, do you still think it's as much as a benefit, or is it more of a negative? Is there more of a negative twist to it? Brew Your Mind is brought to you today by Crown Supply. A crown is a representation of power, legitimacy, victory, and glory. If you know anything about any of those things, you know that they do not come overnight, and it is a journey. Crown Supply is a lifestyle brand built with hopes to inspire others to embrace their journey. Crown Supply, they had an amazing sale over the Thanksgiving holiday. I know I took advantage of it, got me a gray sweatshirt. I'm looking sick, and I know you guys can too, and we're here to hook you up. We have a promo code for you guys to use today, so all Brew Your Mind listeners get to enjoy a 15% off discount on all orders when you use the promo code BREWPOD at CrownSupplyStore.com. Take advantage of it, people. It's good stuff over there. Go to CrownSupplyStore.com today, use the promo code, grab your crown, and embrace your journey. Now back to the show.
If you use it correctly, it's amazing. But the problem is 90% of Twitter isn't used correctly.
Man, spot on.
There's so much good reach you can make with Twitter and so many positive things you can make with Twitter. But there's always going to be the ones that are trying to spoil it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and that's the part that of Twitter that I don't even look at. You know, I don't try to follow anything political because it's just a shouting chamber for like-minded people, whether you're on the right, left, north, south, whatever.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It's an echo chamber for people that think the same as you. So that's why I try to, you know, keep it to lighthearted positivity, you know, and that's not fake. That's me. You know me, my friends know me. Like I am very optimistic dude. So that's how I'm going to keep my social page. And
Yeah.
I'm going to follow things that the normal dude would follow. I follow the Green Bay Packers, Milwaukee Brewers, you know,
Mm-hmm.
ESPN, and then I keep up with my friends and my old school and NBA stuff, and that's basically it. And
Mm-hmm.
I think, you know, if you get too much into the mud in Twitter, it'll really make you unhappy.
Yeah.
And you know, I think the Social Dilemma, you know, that Netflix documentary puts it perfectly.
Whew.
It's just like, you know, it literally grabs your brain and it takes you to places you didn't want to go, and the negative stuff is what draws you in. So
Spot on.
you got to try to find a way to make it a positive experience, and it's not easy.
Mm-hmm.
You know, thankfully, I've had social media coaching and helping. You know, in college, they put you through seminars and MBA stuff. They have meetings about it. So
Mm.
thankfully, I've been well versed in how to handle myself and handle either haters or fans. You know, it goes both
Yeah.
ways.
Yeah. And that's spot on. Because I mean, I don't know if there's someone that handles social media as well as you do. Specifically, there are moments because I mean you use it quite often to keep up with stuff and you're tweeting, quote tweeting, and all that kind of stuff. But the way you handle a negative tweet towards you and spin it and like turn it into like people will like jump on that negative tweet and like defend you and like try to cuss them out, and then like you'll spin it like just most recently like, hey, there's nothing wrong with like Marquette Wisconsin rivalry, you spun it like, hey, it's okay to be fans of a different team. And
Right.
I like the way that you're able to spin things on Twitter and to make it, I don't know, you could have easily been, hey, badger this, badger that,
Right.
about blocking you, but no, you take this opportunity with the platform that you're at and try to make a different kind of change, let people see this. So
Sure, for sure. And
I think you handle it appropriately.
yeah, and that's the thing. I think social media one thing you asked me about how I feel about. One thing I don't like at all about social media is that we now look at people for what side they're on in terms of,
Mm.
oh, like he's a nice guy, but he's insert whatever.
Yep.
I have friends from all different creeds and religions and fandoms. I don't care, right? Like if you're a good person, if you're a friend of mine, if you're funny, if you're a like if you're my friend, you're my friend. I don't care, who you pray to, or I don't care, you know what I mean? Like,
Yep.
and like for example, the other day, when a guy not Charlie Bellinger, one of my childhood best friends, he went to
Mm-hmm.
Marquette, and he was chirping at me on Twitter, like he's one of my best friends, and even when I was hooping at Wisconsin, he wouldn't cheer for me when we played. And that's fine, and that makes for funny discussions at a bar with him later. That makes
Yep.
for funny interact. Like I'm not going to be like, dude, come on, man. Like you got to cheer. I'm your boy. Like I don't care.
Yeah.
And like he went to his school, he can cheer for his school, and those interactions that he then gives me on Twitter is funny. And
Mm-hmm.
that's kind of the thing about social media is we get so caught up in who people support or what people like or whatever. Just like people for who they are, and now don't worry about what school they went or what team they cheer, whatever. What I don't know. There's how
No.
it is. It's
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
it gets a little overwhelming sometimes, and sometimes we forget to be regular humans and
Mm.
worry about the wrong things. So that's
Yeah.
kind of how I feel.
No,
about it.
I agree. Couldn't agree more. on that stance. But moving on to the next topic, we mentioned already this health stuff of yours. Okay, like, it's getting kind of out of hand, Sam. All right, to not have a simple conversation with you without you mentioning your health. No, I'm kidding. It's perfectly fine, and I totally get it. But Sam did text me the other day, and he was saying something like his brain has been exploding lately, and he's been reading so much dietary stuff and all this and it's just been changing his life and been opening his eyes and all this kind of stuff. So I want you to elaborate a little bit more, because there are books that you read, and you're just really diving into it, and you posting more pictures about what you're eating, and half of it looks good, half of it looks like too much work to actually do. So I'm gonna need you to convince me on this healthy lifestyle, what you're doing, and I don't know.
First of all, it's really not that hard. Most of my
Good.
meals take 10, 20 minutes at most. Um, and honestly, it's one of those things that I know I didn't get my degree, but one thing about I love learning. Like,
Mm,
I love figuring things out, learning new things. If I hear something on TV, I'm straight to my phone. What does that mean? And I'm what you would call a generalist. I don't
yeah.
know a lot about one particular thing, but I feel like I know a little bit about a lot of things, and I try to expand that every day.
Mm,
So I think that's one thing people wouldn't know about me is how much I like to learn. And yeah, lately, I actually for the past 2, 3 years, I've been really diving deep into my diet and how I can, make my body and my brain work more efficiently and better. And I've had a lot of issues with uh, sensitivities to foods, to skin conditions, to allergies. So I've tried to figure out, what can I do to make myself feel better. And
yeah.
I've gotten a lot of blood tests and stomach tests and what to find out what I can and can't eat. And lately, I've figured, what if I was reading a book called Grain Brain and talking about celiac disease and gluten sensitivities, and that's the one thing I never tried. And I was like, what if I just cut gluten? What if that could have been the answer to all my issues? I've had you know IBS issues, I've had eczema, psoriasis,
Hmm.
I've had blisters on my gums, like weird
Yeah.
things
Hmm.
that have happened, and it's all in this book. It was like a chapter like spoken to me, and
Wow.
so I cut gluten, and in like a week, like all this stuff went away. And it was funny. I had no reactions to foods. I was trying dairy. I was trying eggs again. I was trying certain vegetables that would make me flare up, and all of them were alleviated. And I don't know if that was the exact cause, but it's worked so far. So I'm going to continue to do that. Obviously, I'm an athlete, so I need a certain level of carbs.
Hmm.
I don't want to cut carbs completely. I reading in these books right now that a low carb diet is healthy, but for an athlete, obviously, I know I need to have my share of fuel. But in terms of the gluten stuff, just how much clearer I've been thinking and how much better my body has felt. Inflammation in my knees and my ankles, little things that have made me a little more efficient has helped. And I think I got on this health kick when I had back surgery. Because I realized, oh my gosh, my body is very important because I can't do the things I love if my body's not working at A1 level, especially as a professional athlete. So
Yeah.
I don't want to, nerd out too much or get too far into it. But when you have a big injury like that, you try to find any way to, get back to peak level. And
Hmm.
now I might be a little over the top the way I feel things, or I might go to a trainer and be like, this feels funny, this feels funny. I'm always trying to like tinker and tool with things, but that's just kind of the way I am. And
Yeah.
I'm always trying to listen and self-diagnose and watch. And just the body is fascinating to me. And so that's probably another thing people didn't know about me.
No, that's probably, yeah. You're probably right, because um, I mean, I guess probably the common folk probably think that professional athletes, everything's kind of done for them. Like,
Right.
hey, you're gonna do this, you're gonna follow this plan, and you're gonna remain at this standard. But for you, you're taking that to the next level, and while you're doing that, you're just learning more, and your knowledge is growing, and
Mhm.
that's interesting to me. So if you had one healthy book that you could recommend people to read, what would it be?
I would
You
say
only get one, Sam.
uh, I have two that I
Nope,
wish.
only accepting one today.
One today, brainwashed by this guy named Dr. Perlmutter. Because that's not all diet related. It's like healthy habits.
Hmm,
Think of the term like brainwash. It's kind of just like wash away the junk. You know,
nice.
wash away the BS that you don't need. So whether it's stuff like meditation,
Having
prayer,
a beer at 11 a.m.
having a beer at 11 a.m. Finding time outside, fasting,
Mm,
breath work. One thing that it's been huge for me in my career. I had a lot of anxiety in college. Probably more my sophomore year, I struggled a lot with sports anxiety. Like
mm,
um, I would get like not nervous. I would just get very almost shaky. I'd get exhausted really quick.
interesting.
I'd be so excited to play and so whatever. So I saw a guy and he really talked me into breath work and about how breathing can literally change your life, remold your life, and how important the breath is. And you, as a military guy, I'm sure they've taught you guys, breath work and heat of moments and in tight spots. It's the same thing like in sports. There's these tight spots where you have to be exact, and
Hmm.
just a little breath work can really bring you back to a baseline. And so stuff like box breathing, which um, I read about that they teach some people in the military is 6 seconds in, hold for 6 seconds, 6 seconds out, hold for 6 seconds, and just that box
Mm,
breathing, that steady rhythm, can really bring you, back to a good baseline of calmness, but still perform at a peak level. So stuff like that, has really helped me, and in my anxiety on and off the court, just ways that have really made me happier and made me handle things better.
man, that's some good stuff. That's some real good stuff.
Yeah.
Um, damn, I had a follow up and it's gone. Damn it. No, but that's thank you for sharing all that because you can't tell like watching you. Especially during your college years, you couldn't tell that you were going through anything like that. I
Yeah.
mean, the
And you keep
swagger that you had in the demeanor, you know.
yeah, and you keep that kind of folded up. It's just
Mm-hmm.
that's where I applaud guys like Kevin Love and
Yeah.
people like that. Guys that come out and have talked about it because so many athletes go through it. I think the normal fan doesn't understand that, and that's okay. I don't expect all the fans to understand that because they say,
Mm-hmm.
"Oh, you just play a sport for a living, or you just hit a baseball for," you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
but we put so much of our energy and all of our eggs in this one basket. When you're on the court, you're not thinking about how much money you make.
Mm-hmm.
You're thinking about the pride you have to be on the court, and you don't want to let yourself down because we are all such big critics of ourselves, and that's what people don't understand. And then if you have a bad game and you see these things online, it really gets to some guys, and we put a lot of pressure on ourselves. And now that a few professional athletes, now we're all like
Yeah.
normal dudes, and we
Yeah.
just might be a little taller, and
That's it.
we go through these emotions. And for a guy like Kevin to come out, an all-star NBA champ, to come out and talk about it really resonated, I think, through the sports community. Like, yeah, a lot of us are going through this, and we appreciate him bringing that to the forefront. And like I said, I don't
Yeah.
expect all fans to understand it or get it, and that's fine. But there is a human element to professional sports, and we
Mm-hmm.
need the same meditations and breath work and
Yeah.
exercises that the normal 9 to 5 businessman needs to go through. So
Yeah.
the pressure is on our shoulders a lot from ourselves, and any way that we can get through that. And I hope, this, if anyone's listening to this that is feeling like that or has I hope they're like, man, Sam went through that and he's still positive and he's found these ways.
Mm-hmm.
So, I hope that can help somebody. And, we all go through things, and it'd be
For sure.
naive of me to say that I've never gone through it. So,
Yeah,
hope
for
that
sure.
everyone knows
It's
that.
important for the people to know that they're not alone at all when
Yeah.
it comes to anything, and all they have to do is speak up, and someone will listen, and then from there, help will be available. So that's huge, and I don't want to take anything, because all that's spot on, and I think that's what's important is for, I think, how certain players become like fan favorites is when they show their most like human elements, if that makes sense, because it gives the fans a way to kind of see who they really are, and they actually get real attached to that person. So I don't know, maybe that's how everyone just came to love you, because you just showed like your true human side of it, not just the basketball side on Twitter and Instagram and whatnot.
Yeah.
So.
Like I cheer for my hometown sports. I
Yep.
retweet videos of dogs. Like stuff like that. Like,
Yeah.
I'm just, I hang out with my wife and my friends. I drink beer and
Yep.
whiskey and tequila, and I like all sorts of
Yeah.
music. I play video games. We are, a lot of us, I'm not an outlier.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of guys are like me, but a lot of guys don't want to show that side online because it's not, it's not, I don't know. It's not the way that everyone wants to be seen.
It's just not the way it's been, like with social
and
media. It's just not known for professional athletes to show that side, because
and then-
that's just not what professional athletes do.
Yeah, and like that's the thing about Twitter. Guys are afraid to show some of that stuff of them relaxing because they don't want to see get in the gym. Da, 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 da. Little do these people know, like 99.9% of NBA players, NFL players, whatever, they are in the gym from like 8 a.m. to like noon. Like it's like you like during quarantine, for example, like you knew like I'm up at 8 walking the dog, and then I'm in the gym lifting and shooting till 12:30, 1 o'clock, and then I'm on Warzone or cracking a beer or whatever, posting funny videos with the wife or whatever. Like, but we get our work in, and that's like the whole Damian Lillard thing. Like, they're like, you don't post enough videos of your working out, and he's like, would you rather have me posting videos of workout or scoring 50? Like, which one do you want?
Yeah.
Like, he's like, I'm working. Like, just believe me. Like, I'll show you when the game starts. Like, it counts. During those 82 games during the season, it doesn't count in July.
Yeah, that's the truth. He will drop 50, and then he'll drop a track right afterwards, and spit some serious heat on a freestyle or something like that.
Right.
It's what he does with his own time. But
exactly.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. Go ahead.
No. I was just gonna say you were spot on. You mentioned earlier, you're just a human that's taller. Something about me is, if I see a guy that's taller than me in public, Tori will know. She'll look at me because she'll just see my reaction, because I'm just pissed. Okay, I feel like my man card's getting taken away when I'm not the tallest person. And I mean, my dad was 6'7", so I'm still mad to this day that I only got to 6'3". But that's why I don't even know if I want to meet you in person, because you're like 6'8", 6'9", right?
I'm 6'9".
Yeah, 6'9". Dude, I don't want to meet you because I'm gonna shake your hand and then, nah, dude, not gonna happen. I don't like it.
What is it, Tommy boy? Brothers don't shake hands. Brothers gotta hug.
That's right. And dude, I don't even want to think about it. But yeah, good stuff, dude. Good stuff. What else do you got? I'm trying to make it so, like, especially the Brew Your Mind listeners, they hear my voice every week, and every time Jesse's on here, they may hear his voice a little bit more because sometimes he gets in a little tangent. But we love that. So now that you're here as a guest, I don't want to take up too much of the time. So what else do you want to talk about?
Man, I mean, anything under the sun. I mean,
yeah,
it's a Sunday. Packers about to play the Eagles.
How you feeling about that?
2 Packer fans here.
That's right.
No, I feel good about it. I think the Eagles haven't really found their identity this year.
Mm-hmm.
It's one of those things. I'll be honest. I'm a Carson Wentz fan, just because I've seen what he can do, and he was, borderline MVP when the year they won the title, and
Mm-hmm.
he's done a lot with a little, in terms of help. But this year
Yes.
he's just not gotten it going, and there's really no defending it. So I just worry that, like, is this the game where Carson Wentz breaks out and throws 5 touchdowns? You know what I mean? Like, that's kind of in the back of my mind all week. Leading into this game, like, is this the day that Carson Wentz like figures it out? Because you hear the rumblings about, backups coming in, or Doug Peterson changing play calling.
Yeah.
I'm like, watch the Eagles come out and have this amazing game plan, and Wentz wakes up and he throws 4 touchdowns for 350. And so I'm
Yeah,
hoping
this would be the most Packers thing, that Carson Wentz pops off and that rookie receiver Rager, that all Packer fans were eyeing for the draft or whatever,
For sure.
also pops off.
Right. So I hope that's not the case, but it's been a fun year. I mean, obviously, bad losses are going to happen during the year, but more good than bad this year. And I love the direction they've been going in, and that camaraderie with LaFleur and Rodgers.
Oh, it's great.
And I think it's weird. Obviously, quarterback play is so important, but it's amazing how good a team can be when an offensive line is as good as they've been. You know what I mean? Like, if a quarterback gets time, or if holes open up for an Aaron Jones or Jamal Williams, like, good things can happen. And I think those unsung heroes are those guys up front. So there's our 4 minutes of Packer talk. But hopefully you get a win tonight. And when I say tonight, it's for me, it's 11:30 kick. So I'll be up late watching that one.
Yeah, for sure. And that's good stuff. And to keep with the sports talk, could you talk to the Badger fans real quick about don't be too hard on yourselves about this loss over Marquette, and there's still a long season and whatnot. I think you're talking a little bit about on Twitter, but could you just give them some good vibes, please?
For sure. No, they're fine. They're completely fine. It's losses happen. It's funny. This is going to sound weird, but sometimes losses, like, fans take losses harder than the players, because the fans can't go out there and do it. The players know, all right, we screwed this up. We messed this up. We didn't switch on this. We didn't talk on this. We didn't have a good game plan. Coaches are probably saying, man, like, we scouted that wrong or whatever. And they know that, the keys are in their hand to fix it.
Yeah.
Fans, they don't have that. They're hoping, the powers that be fix it. So, for example, when we were my junior year, when we were 30, we were at the time, I think we were like 28-2, 25-2, something. We went to Rutgers and lost.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
Rutgers was like 2-13 Big Ten play, right? And you'd think on Twitter that, we were getting relegated to Division II, like, and we were literally on the bus kind of like looking at each other, like kind of giggling, like, dude, what the hell just happened? Like, like, how the hell did we lose to these guys? And we put a stinker up. We clunked. And it was a weird game. It was a Sunday. It was like a 5 o'clock tip, 4:45 tip on a Sunday in Rutgers at the rack. Not like, it was just a weird game overall. And it was also the game that the Packers played, the Dez caught it game. So like, we were like more into the Packer game than like,
oh wow,
game. So
that's awesome.
So Rutgers, comes out and they eat our lunch right in front of us, and we lose. And I think I tweeted after, I'm like, we're fine. Like, we then won like 6 in a row, got a 1 seed, went into the tournament like 35-3. Like,
what else can you ask for that?
It's one of those things that happens. It's sports, and as the players, you can kind of laugh it off and brush it off and tie your shoes up a little tighter in the next game and get to work. But fandom is crazy, because you think about it and linger on it and tweet about it. So the Badgers will be fine. They got a good team. They got a bunch of seniors, which helps, and a great coaching staff, so they'll be fine.
Nice. And you mentioned the fandom. So as you, like, you're the athlete, you're the professional athlete. You've gone through gone through it all. So as a fan, when you put your fan hat on for the Packers and the Badgers now and the Brewers, does it kind of skew your thoughts on, like, if there's a big loss by the Packers, you're like, hey, yeah, they're fine. They're gonna laugh it off. They're gonna be. Does it kind of like change the way that you think about those things as well? Now that since you've been through it,
for sure.
yeah.
It's funny when the Packers lost to Minnesota. What was that 3-4 weeks ago?
Mm-hmm.
I remember my brother John texted me like, "These guys suck," like like something, whatever. And I was like,
Yeah.
"They're going to win the next 3. They're going to win 3 out of 4. They're going to be 8-3, and everything's going to be fine. Like whatever." And sure enough,
Yeah.
that's the case.
Here
But
we are.
it's I'm more of a realist in that regard because I'm like, one, I knew Minnesota wasn't as bad as the record was. I think Minnesota, everyone picked them to go to the playoffs. They're a good team.
Yeah,
Either 5 or
absolutely.
6, like they're rolling. So yeah, for sure. And also I know like that guys are going through things. I know, guys have family lives behind the scenes and
Oh man, yeah.
guys are trying to, this and that and got kids and get traded. And I know what goes on in these guys' head. So that's why you don't see me bashing guys on Twitter. You don't see me, and Travis Shaw had such a tough year a couple years ago. I just couldn't get it going. I was actually at Miller Park, back by the clubhouse, and Travis was in the cage getting more swings in, and he's like, I hope he doesn't mind that I said it, but he's like, I just need to hit a fucking ball. Like,
Yeah.
he knows, like he's trying his best, and I'm, and sitting there just watching him. I don't need to say anything. I'm just watching him and hoping he, barrels a ball up that night, and
Yeah.
and Travis was a guy that for 3 years was, one of the best, hitting third baseman in the league. So
Absolutely.
just one example of how I know, like, I'm not going to go on Twitter and bash anybody because I know what they're going through. I had a year in LA where I shot 20% from 3. I wasn't trying to miss, I was hitting 90% in practice by myself. And then in a game, I just wasn't hitting them. And, just like, again, like a guy like Christian Yelich last year just couldn't get it going. I'm friends with Christian. I'm not going to say anything bad about Christian. Like, he's the best player in baseball. Like,
Absolutely.
so yeah, it changes my perspective a little bit on things. And that's why I don't get into the mud on Twitter about those type of things. But I know a lot of these guys, these thoughts they're having, and they're trying and they're doing their best, and they're trying to put their best foot forward for their fans. So I hope fans recognize that and think about it, once in a while.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And then you add this extra element that we have this year. You're sitting over there with your lockdown on the weekends, which is pretty much taking you and making you completely isolated from everyone else in that area. And then like you look at the NBA and they can't do anything supposedly with this new guidance that went out. No nightclubs, nothing. When you're not in the gym, you're at home. And in the NFL, they got all these COVID tests. I mean, you're how many COVID tests do you have? Is it daily for you still?
It's 2 days before every game. So yeah.
See, that's crazy. And like, I think as the years going on, fans are not necessarily thinking about all that the professional athletes have to go through during this COVID stuff and all the COVID protocols and everything that must be followed. And they just expect the players to show up and perform to what they know as their best ability. But it's impossible for a human being to be at their best with all this going on. It's just impossible unless you're just someone else,
No, absolutely. It's been weird. It's been, and it's tough, like not having fans at games over here. Like,
Yeah.
some games you just don't feel great, and it's like because part of the allure of playing, especially on the road, is like getting yelled at and getting up for big games. And like the other night, I'm not going to say names, but we only had 7 guys. We lost by 35 because we didn't know what our team was going to be. We didn't know what we were going to have, and because of our health, we had 7 guys. So
Crazy.
we're playing 18, 19-year-old guys off the bench that weren't expecting to play. And, it's tough. And it's one of these things. It's just like, it's the nature of the beast this year. You got next man up mentality, but you can only do that perfectly you can't do that every night perfectly,
Correct.
And, there's been games we've won by 30 this year. We've lost by 30. We've won by 20. We've lost by 20. It's weird. And and I'm doing that in Turkey. It's you kind of create your own little bubble. It's not always fun, but it's where I'm at in my life right now, and thankfully I've been healthy to this point, and we'll see how long that lasts. But
Yeah,
5-6 months left, and we're gonna do our best every day.
for sure. And as long as you got me in your bubble, you're good, man. All right, you're good. You can just coast and you'll be good. But before we shut it down, let's bring up the topic about for all our gamer fans out there.
Let's
We
go.
actually Sam and I, those that are listening, Sam and I just got done playing Call of Duty Warzone for the last, what was it, a couple hours. Zero dubs,
We had
but we were to be fair, we were multitasking with the Dekker Post while we were playing.
and
So maybe
I was also cooking lamb while I was playing.
that's correct. And then also Sam gets a call by his sweet wife, which hey, that is fine. Okay, if your wife wants to call you during dubs time, that's okay. Most of the time, I would ask her to run it through me first. But since she went directly to you, I understand where I'm at. It's perfectly fine. So comms were lost a little bit there. But hey, so you play Call of Duty mainly just that game, right?
Yeah, right now, just that game. Yeah.
So we got a big change happen. Those that are not familiar with Call of Duty, a new title came out, Cold War, different developer, the Black Ops kind of side of it. So Sam, what do you think? Because this last year of Call of Duty Warzone, it was probably at its best it's ever been, right? Like the most fun that you've gotten out of Call of Duty, correct?
Yeah, I would say it was the most fun I've gotten out of Call of Duty since,
You streamed in college.
yeah, since like the first Black Ops, Modern Warfare 3, Black Ops 2, even, and that's the crazy thing is I'm usually like a Treyarch stan,
Mm-hmm.
and you know, I don't think Cold War necessarily is a bad game. It's just not. It's not what Warzone. I think maybe I've gotten in like too battle royale influenced. It might be that,
Yeah.
but I also love the textures and graphics and realism of Modern Warfare.
Mm-hmm.
Treyarch has always been a little bit more bright, and a little bit more cartoony,
Yeah.
which is fine. They make good games. It's just Warzone. I think quarantine, like, it was the best thing that ever happened to Modern
Yeah.
Warfare series and Warzone and Activision, and Infinity Ward. I cannot believe how many people and how much time we spent on that game during
Whew.
quarantine. And no, it's some of the most fun I've had. And obviously I've made friends, and I've tucked my brother and my buddies back home more than I ever have. Also,
Mm-hmm.
that we're on
Yeah.
with every night, and no, it's so much fun,
Yeah.
and Call of Duty is something that's always come pretty natural to me. So, yeah, I like getting on there and trying to get some wins, and I think that's
Yeah.
part of it that is also such an allure. It's hard to win, no matter who you are.
Yeah.
So it
Yep.
keeps you so engaged because when you get those wins, it's exciting. So
Exactly.
it's not like Madden where you can win 49-7. It's like you have to buckle down and win and communicate, and that competitive side of it is really fun.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a legit war, and Sam, being a little bit unfamiliar with the military side, he likes to sometimes put his camo uniform on
Yep.
and get down to the bunker, and then we start talking all Roger copy, and it gets good. It gets
Yeah.
real good.
Thank me
But
for
yeah,
my
so what's that last part?
thank me for my service.
Yeah, thank you for your. Yeah, I'm not going to open up that can of worms. Veterans Day 2020, we'll never forget. But I guess yeah. So it's kind of like a mysterious time here with the two of these games. I guess we're going to find out maybe in a week and a half what's going to happen with Warzone. But we're all expecting some big changes. So is there anything? If you could name one thing right now that you would like to be changed to Warzone, except for the Juggernaut thing. If you could name one thing that you would like to add to the game or a big change or something like that to make it even better than it is now, what would it be?
Obviously, a map change. We played the same map since March. Crazy. Like,
We've been in Verdansk since March.
yeah, they've literally added zip lines to go up buildings, and they opened the stadium and added a railroad that no one uses.
A train and a
Uh,
subway.
yeah, the subways. I mean, that no one's used. Other than that, though, it's like pretty flawless. Like
Yeah.
in terms of like the competition aspect, it's not like obviously I would love to see like the R90, the Dragon's Breath out of the game because
Yeah.
I'm guilty of using it, but like if you don't use it, you're at such a disadvantage. Like
Exactly.
I would like to see like maybe quicker nerfs and quicker, buffs of other things.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I'm excited to see some new, integration with Cold War with new weapons, so there can be, new, just balancing, more weapon
Yep.
balancing in that regard. But obviously, I would love some map changes. It was so fun. Even like
Halloween.
the night mode, like for 2 weeks,
Yeah.
being able to like just see a new look was so
Mm-hmm.
much fun. So I'm excited to see what the Rebirth Island has. I don't know if is it gonna nuke prison and that's gonna break off
Mm-hmm.
from Rebirth Island, or is the dam gonna explode and that's somehow gonna turn into I don't know. But I'm excited to finally see something new.
Yeah.
I think it would be a little startling if it was like all extremely new. Like if
Mm-hmm.
it just like literally rip the Band-Aid off and they're like here's a new map. That'd be
You guys asked for this.
that would be a little weird. I don't think they do that, but having at least new areas of the map, kind of like Fortnite did, nuke an area or two, get rid of tilted type of thing. I think that would be important. And also, I think Fortnite kind of recapturing its audience right now is going to be the best thing for Warzone because they need
Yeah.
to buckle up and be like, like Fortnite's adding new exciting
Dude.
content. People are running back to Fortnite. Let's give these people what they want and some bang for their buck. Get these streamers and YouTubers back on our side,
Mm-hmm.
and I think the experience will be even better.
Yeah, absolutely, dude. You mentioned Fortnite. They do it right, and I was on that Fortnite train for a while, a bit ago. And what they're doing, their in-game events, and constantly, I mean, their name is everywhere because they're just constantly just evolving that game. So it's good stuff. But hey, we hit the hour mark. We talked about everything legit under the sun. I don't think we could cover any more topics. Unless if there's anything you want to add, anything at all before I shut it down, the floor is yours.
I would love to have Jesse on here next time with us, but
Mm-hmm.
for not having a topic, we're pretty good about nonstop. So I appreciate you having me on. I appreciate the help with the Dekker Post and ideas, and I'm excited to get this up on the site and send this out to people to listen and grow that audience and have some fun with it. I think this could be something pretty cool and try to bring people in, bring people together, and have a cool space to have some fun and share some laughs.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Thanks for the kind words. Again, those that want to know more about Sam, just go back to episode 29. We talk all things Sam, from college days all the way to his overseas balling days. And then if you want to know even more about Sam, the Dekker Post, as he mentioned, it's literally thedekkerpost.com, and he's got some good stuff on there that he's been writing about. And then Brew Your Mind will show up on there as well as we work that. But hey, Sam, thanks again so much for joining me today and stepping in as the co-host of Brew Your Mind. I know that's probably the goal that you had as a child. Like, hey, I want to be a co-host for a podcast one day, and I'm glad we can make that happen today.
I appreciate it. Thanks so much, friend.
Yeah, man. It's about football time, so we're going to sign off here. Thank you guys so much for listening to us today, and we'll be back in a couple weeks. And just stay tuned for all the good stuff. Still got some merch on the site, so make sure you dive in, get a patch, get a coaster. Mugs are in the works. But hope you guys doing great. And hey, stay safe and don't forget to brew your mind. See you guys.